What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. This is Web Dev Journey, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how to host a React application with Amplify. But before we do that, I do want to get into the docs. No, well, not get into it. I just want you guys to know where the docs are, so that way if you do run into trouble or you want to, try something out for yourselves, you can do so. You can. I don't even know what I'm trying to say right now, but you can check it out, right? So anyways, right now, obviously this is going to be in the description down below. Right now we're using a web and we're using React, so I'm gonna click on that, and this is going to give us a lot of things that we could do. Prereqs, full stack project, connect. Also, if you go to the libraries, these are all the things that we could do with Amplify. Add a push notification, add analytics, authentication. Where's the auth at? Right here, authentication. Yeah, these are all the things that we could do. If you click on it, it'll tell you how to get started. It's a pretty good, it's a very good documentation. I would say, in my opinion, it's pretty good. It's not the best. It's not the best, but it's pretty good. Okay. So yeah, just check this out if you do have time or you're trying to try to do something else. All right. So let's talk about hosting now. All right. So the application that we're going to be hosting is literally the boilerplate. Oh yeah, exciting stuff, right? I honestly do not have just a single static React application. I don't. Everything has a backend to it. So what we're doing right now is just doing a simple boilerplate React application. This is what we're going to be hosting. Okay, and yeah, so I have that already open in my Visual Studio Code and also in my let's get rid of that. Also in my terminal, right? And Amplify React is literally the name of this application. I should have said Amplify React app so we wouldn't get confused. Matter of fact, let me do that. All right, so the very first thing that we need to do is initialize our application. So Amplify init, basically that's it. We're going to be initializing it. It's going to walk us through the process. Enter a name for the project, Amplify React app. That's okay with me. Let's do that. Enter name, dev, sure. Visual Studio Code is what I'm using. JavaScript, yes. React, that's the framework we're using, yes. Source, build. Most of the stuff is going to be pretty much default unless you have a specific build command or start command and all that stuff, then type it in. Now, Amplify does use AWS CloudFormation. Now, if you do not know what that is, let me actually take you to that right now. Let me see. Let's go to CloudFormation. There we go. So CloudFormation basically just creates stacks. All right. Now, a stack is a collection of AWS resources that you can manage as a single unit. So if you do not know, when you're using Amplify and if you're trying to add the, let me actually go back. Hold on. I want to get this really clear. What are resources? All right. So if you go to libraries, if you're trying to add, let's say, authentication, if you AWS has a resource called Cognito for authentication. If you're trying to do API, it's probably going to, I don't even know about this one. I think it uses AppSync. I'm not too sure, but it uses resources. All of these services right here, authentication, storage, APIs, they use AWS resources, all right? So every time you add an API or authentication or predictions, push notifications, whatever, it's going to be using some sort of resource AWS provides. And this CloudFormation keeps track of all those things. Just wanted to get that really clear on what it is, all right? So we're using CloudFormation, which is just a stack of resources, okay? All right, so let's go back to the terminal. And do we want to use a profile? Yes, we do. That's the whole point of the last video, and I called it Amplify React. Hit enter, and it's going to start initializing the project in the cloud. Basically, what it's doing now is going to be creating resources in that cloud formation stack. Okay, so right now it's creating a IAM row for auth row, another one for unauth row, is creating a S3 bucket resource for deployment bucket, and by the way, guys, we can see what exactly, if you don't want to read through this, there's an easier way to see what kind of resources this application is going to be using. If we go back to the browser, go to CloudFormation. So if you just go to services, type in CloudFormation, Cloud F, it should be the first one, type right here. And you should have a stack name called Amplify React App, which is the one that we're creating, right? One we're working with. If you click on it, and if you click on resources right here, you're gonna see all the resources that it's creating, which is pretty cool. Okay, now we'll get into these in a bit later on. Just quick knowledge on a quick thing that to show you how to see all the resources that this particular application is using, or CloudFormation is using. All right, so it should have been done already, and it is, which is really, really good. So right now, all we did was just initialize our project. I know, right? That's a lot of things that it did just to initialize. Yeah, you're right. It really is. But anyways, we just initialized our project. Now, the next thing we need to do is add libraries to this project, so that way it gets a little bit, Amplify could work easier with our project. So we're going to do npm I, and we're going to add an AWS-Amplify. Now, what this package does is it's just the main library for working with Amplify in our applications. And then we're also going to add another one, which is AWS-Amplify /UI-React. There we go. Now, with this package, it just includes React-specific UI components that Amazon is going to use to build out the application. That's basically it. That's all we need. So hit enter. Oh, and by the way, guys, once you init this, let's go back over here. It actually creates a AWS exports.js. Now, this is important. The reason why is because this is going to keep a track of all the resources that we're using in our front end. So if we do create a S3 bucket, it's going to note that here, which S3 bucket we're using, what the region is, and all that stuff. So that way it gives AWS all the right information to, like, when you're trying to update something, it'll update the right S3 bucket, it'll update the right, authentication resource and all that stuff. So this is very important. This is automatically created when you do the init. All right. Make sure to have this. To not have it in your get ignored. It does automatically add that here, so I'm gonna just get rid of it here. Control save. Make sure you don't have this in your get ignore. Okay, just make sure you don't have it. All right, it should be done. Yeah, there we go. It's done. So next thing we need to do is just add those in. So import. I'm gonna just say Amplify from AWS Amplify. And also I'm going to import that JS, this one right here, this JS file, which is our config. So I'm gonna just say import AWS config from AWS exports. There we go. And all we need to do now is just say amplify.configure and just pass in that AWS config file that we got back. And that's pretty much it. This is just like setting things up so that way, like I said, it's going to be sending the correct information back to the AWS to see which S3 bucket to update. Control save this. And guys, make sure you do have this in GitHub, because we are going to be using GitHub for continuous deployment. So I added some things in here. So what I'm gonna do is just say git add everything, git commit -m. I'm gonna say added Amplify, and then git push. All right, so I have everything pushed to GitHub. Everything is good. Now it's time to start hosting our application. This is basically all we need to do with Amplify. All right, in the React application, this is all we need to add in. All right, so now what we want to do is add a category. Now, what do I mean by category? If you type in amplify.cmd, obviously you have your commands, but if you go on top, services are called categories. I think of these as services, right? If you want to add analytics, that's a service for me in a way, but they're called categories for Amplify. So we're gonna stick to category. So these are categories. If you want to add an API or an auth or a function or a hosting, notification, analytics, right? These are all the things that you could add to your application. And right now, all we want to add is hosting. So what we need to do is say amplify, and right here, the category, and then add. So we want to do amplify. We want to add the hosting category, hosting, and then we're going to say add. Hit enter. And we want to host with Amplify Console, which is basically going to give us custom domains and continuous deployment. Amazon CloudFront plus S3 is just, you're going to have to do everything manually, which we don't want to. So I don't want to. So I'm just do the very first option. This might take a while because it always does for me. There we go. All right. So what kind of a deployment do you want to do? Do you want to do continuous deployment or do you want to do manual deployment? Continuous deployment means that every time you push a new feature to GitHub and to the master or the main branch, it's going to automatically detect that and it's going to rebuild your application and rehost it using all those things in the resources, right? Amazon takes care of all of that for you guys. Manually, obviously, you're going to have to do everything manually. I don't want that. I just want it to auto-detect, the GitHub repo and then just do it. So once you hit that, you should be brought to, a tab should have opened up to the AWS. I hate this thing, man. AWS, what is this called? AWS Amplify. Dude, that's the title of the series, man. I should have known. So AWS Amplify, you should a tab should open up and here's your application, right? These are the apps. I'm trying to get rid of these, but I cannot for the life of me get rid of any of these. I just can't. I don't know how. Quick pro tip, if you built something, if you built an app, a AWS Amplify app using the CLI, delete it with the CLI. Do not try to delete it here because you're gonna, I don't know what happened. It's going to screw up something and you won't be able to delete it. This is what happened with these. I can't delete them anymore. I don't know why. Anyways, you should see your application right here. I do. So I'm going to click on it. And you're going to have your backend environments and your front end environments. We don't have a backend environment, so we're not going to mess with that. We do have front end environments, right? So I want to connect with GitHub. Plus, if you do look in your terminal, it's going to say, hey, that you started continuous deployment. Try to connect to your repository and then hit enter once you're done. Does it say that? Yeah. Once you connect to your repo. So let's go back to our browser and try to connect to our GitHub. Let's connect to GitHub, connect branch. All right, let's go back again. I don't know what happened there. GitHub, connect. There it is. GitHub authorization was successful. Now I could get a specific repo. And the repo that I have it in is Amplify React. So if I do that and I want to do the main one, yes, I'm going to click on next. Now I do not have a backend, so I'm going to uncheck this because we don't want to have this. We're not dealing with backends right now. So we're going to just leave that alone, uncheck it, and don't worry about it. Okay. And then when you say when deploying our front end, oh yeah, this is just saying that, hey, make sure that this file, the AWS export.js file, is not included in the git ignore, which we've already done. So I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna hit next. Once that's done, just hit save and deploy, and basically you're pretty much done. You're pretty much set. Okay, there it is. Creating branch main success. So it's going to start, doing all these things, trying to provision, build, and then deploy, and then verify. And over here, we could just hit enter because we actually connected to our repo. Hit enter, hit enter. There we go. All right, done. So now it gave us this domain name, which is good. But over here in our browser, it's still trying to deploy. So we're going to just wait until all this is actually built. Okay. So I'm what's it called? Come back when it's done. All right, guys, I'm back and it has built successfully for me. Now, one thing I do want you to note that is if you're having trouble with this, maybe a build failed, make sure to go to your all apps. Let's go to all apps, go to click on this, and click on build. Sorry, go back one, please. Go back one. Can I go back one? I can't go back one. Let me do it again. Click on build right here. Just click on build, and it should show you like a basically, where is it at? Like consoles right here, console logs right here, and it's going to tell you what's wrong with it. All right, even if the build failed, it will tell you in big red, I think, what's wrong with it. But I think the problem is going to be that you're using npm, a npm package manager instead of yarn package manager. If you try to mix those two together, then you're going to get a probably a warning or a build failed, and it's going to say something along the lines of like, npm, you can't have two package managers. So what you need to do is just delete the package JSON log file, delete that. Package log JSON file, delete that completely. Upload that all your application, your whole application without that package log JSON file to GitHub, and then try to build it one more time. Just letting you know, okay? But anyways, we have it. So if we click on this domain name, you should see your application up and running with this hideous domain name, but a domain name nonetheless. Now let's try to add a domain, a custom domain name to this, okay? Now the cool thing is that if you go to all apps right here, click on that, it's going to give you like 5 little lists that you could do. You could add a custom domain name with a free SSL certificate, which is something that we want to do. But in order for this to work, you need to have your domain name in Route 53, which I don't really have one, I don't think. So let's try that out. Let's go to Route 53 and let's see what domains I have that I could use. I have one. I have one. Okay, so that's not one that I want to use. So I do have some in GoDaddy. Let's get one from GoDaddy, okay? GoDaddy. All right, I do have some in GoDaddy, so this is going to be another little thing that you're going to learn, I guess. So right here, we're going to be using Fruitless Coder. This is the one we're going to be using, okay? Fruitless Coder. So I'm gonna just copy this right here, copy, go over here, and what we want to do is create a hosted zone, okay? So click on that. My domain name is fruitlesscoder.com. And it's going to be a public hosted zone, okay? And just create hosted zone. And that is it. You have your, if you go to hosted zones, you should have 2, or you should have 1, but I have 2. Fruitless Coder should be one of them, okay? So that's okay. Do not worry about this. We're all good for right now. Now, what you want to do is, well, actually, I don't think you need to do that. I was going to say, I don't think you need to change the DNS records for this, but I'm not too sure. I haven't changed it over here. I think my DNS records over here are I don't know. I don't think I have any for this. Oh yeah, I do. Maybe, but they're not the DNS records for these. But anyways, I don't think you need to add them, but let's try it without adding them. So now that we have this, let's go back to our AWS Amplify, go inside of our app React, right here, go to this drop down, add a custom domain name. Click on add domain, and there it is right here. You should automatically see your domain name if you have it in Route 53, which is, for me, fruitlesscoder.com. And what I'm going to do is hit configure domain. And basically what this is saying that, hey, you're going to have 2 kind of subdomains, right? If they go to fruitlesscoder.com or if they go to www.fruitlesscoder.com, okay? So this is all okay for me. I'm gonna just leave it as this. So I'm gonna just say save. And there we go. It's saving. It's going to create a SSL creation. It's going to create an SSL certificate basically. So I'm just going to leave this right now for right now. I'll be back when this is done. All right. I was waiting for like a good amount of time, and then I read this. So you do have to have those DNS records up and running. So we gotta do that. So let's go back to Route 53. Where's my hosted names or hosted zones? Click on Fruitless Coder, and I'm going to be doing this NS record right here. So I'm gonna just grab these DNSs, copy this, go to my name server, change them, paste. Gotta delete that period at the very end. Period. And I'm gonna add all 4, just to be on the safe side, you know. Copy, paste. All right, add name server. Well, no, not this one. Just say save. Yes, I consent. Just do it. What? Oh my god. All right, I just, for the life of me, I did that already. So if I refresh now, I should have 4. Holy hell, I have. Why do I have so many? It doesn't matter. As long as I have the ones that are right here. 52, 20, 18, 18. Yep, I do. So that's cool. All right, so I have my domain settings. Let's just make sure I do have them one more time, because okay, I do have it. 4. You saw that, right? There was 4. Yep. All right, let's go back over here to Amplify and refresh. Hopefully this doesn't break anything. So yeah, this is basically checking for the DNS domain names, right? Yeah. So yeah, we did need to link that up. So once this is done, it should be all good. But we have the application up and running. I will get back to you once this is done. This might actually take a good while. Might. It says up to 8 hours. If it takes more than 8 hours, which I'm like, it should not at all. But hey, if it doesn't, okay. All right. So anyways, I'll get back to you once this is done. All right. It's completely done. Now, if we go to this one, we should see our React app, which we do. If we go, yeah, well, www, get rid of it. It should just redirect us to www, which is correct. Whew. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We have everything up and running, which is good. That's the whole point of this video, right? Hosting your React application, and we have done so. Now, I do want to show you that if you do make a change, so let's make a change in the app.js, and we're going to say with Amplify, Control save. We're going to push this up. So git add everything, git commit, added text, and then git push. So we just push something in the main repository, right? Or branch. Now, if we go back to the right here and go to I don't know why is it that. If we go to Amplify, AWS Amplify, we're gonna see that, hey, where is it at? Front end right here. It's rebuilding our application again, just because we made that simple change. Okay, now take in consideration that this is going to cost you, and we will be talking about how much does Amplify really cost later on in the videos, but this, every build that you make does cost you. Okay, so we're rebuilding this and it is costing me. Obviously, if you have the free tier, it's going to be free for you guys, but I don't think I have the free tier no more, so it's costing me. So hit that like button, subscribe, and comment down below on what you thought about the video. If I should have been more specific on some things, or more detailed on some things, let me know. So thank you guys for watching my videos. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video, where we're going to, I don't even know what we're going to be doing in the next video. Probably authentication or maybe analytics, but something like that. All right, so I'll see you in the next video. All right, bye.